You know, in the NFL, a championship ring is supposed to be the final word, right? The ultimate validation. But for one quarterback, it's just the beginning of the trial. This is the story of Sam Darnold, the champion nobody saw coming, who has everybody asking, is he the real deal or just the luckiest guy in the league?
Okay, so let's just get this out of the way right from the jump. Sam Darnold is a Super Bowl champion. No matter what anyone thinks of him, that is a cold, hard fact. The guy climbed the mountain. The real question, though, is how in the world did he get there? And that is where this whole debate just explodes. Was this victory proof that he's a top-tier quarterback, or was he just a passenger on a championship bus driven by everyone else? Believe me, the evidence is not as clear as you might think. Now, to really wrap your head around this, you gotta understand just how impossible this all seemed. Seriously, this wasn't some chosen one story. This was the story of a journeyman, a guy who bounced from team to team, who somehow, someway, found his way to the promised land. I mean, think about it. Just 1 year ago, Sam Darnold's career was basically on life support. He was a cast-off, written off by pretty much everyone. The only thing left to do was write the obituary on his time as a starting QB. So, let's open the case file. Let's look at Exhibit A, the playoffs. And man, this is where it gets really interesting because the two games that got him that ring, well, they could not have been more different. It was a tale of two quarterbacks in one body. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In one game, you've got the gunslinger, slinging it all over the field to get his team to the Super Bowl. And in the next, you've got the game manager, who just tried not to screw things up to win it all. So, which one is the real Sam Darnold? Okay, first up, the NFC Championship game. This was the game where Darnold told all the doubters to be quiet. He went toe-to-toe with the league's MVP, and he didn't just hold his own, he kind of dominated. He threw for a whopping 346 yards. And this wasn't some dink-and-dunk check-down heavy game plan. No. He was airing it out, taking shots, making the big-time throws you need to win a championship game. This was the guy everyone was waiting for. And it wasn't just empty yards either. He backed it up with three huge touchdown passes. He put the team on his back and proved he could absolutely deliver a high-flying, winning performance. But then came the Super Bowl. And that gunslinger who lit up the NFC Championship, he was nowhere to be found. In his place was a completely different player with a totally different approach to the game. Yeah, I know. These numbers, they're not going to blow you away. They look average, right? But look a little closer. The single most important number on this entire screen isn't the yards. It's that 0. 0 turnovers. In the biggest game of his life, he played it safe and didn't make a single costly mistake. And this quote right here, it just sums it all up perfectly. He did exactly what he had to do. He protected the football, he made a few throws when he had to, and he let his elite defense do the heavy lifting. He proved he could win by being smart, not just spectacular. But hey, to really get the full picture of Sam Darnold, you can't just look at the stats. You have to go behind the scenes, inside that locker room, because according to his teammates, that's where the real story is. I mean, listen to this from his linebacker, Ernest Jones. It's about way more than talent. It's about being the first guy in the building every single day. It's about caring so much that your teammates will go to war for you. That's real leadership. And then there's this. Man, this quote from Ryan Clark might just be the entire story summed up in one sentence. A guy whose career was supposed to be over comes back and wins it all. That just gives you chills. And all of this brings up a huge question in the larger debate, doesn't it? Was Sam Darnold ever really the problem at his old stops? Or was he just a good player who was consistently let down by the organizations around him? Maybe this championship is what happens when you finally put him in a spot to succeed. All right, we've seen the evidence, we've heard from the witnesses, so now it's time for the big one. Where does a Super Bowl champion like Sam Darnold actually rank among the league's quarterbacks? You'd think winning it all would put him near the top, right? Well, not so fast. Analyst Ryan Clark still listed 8 other quarterbacks in his own conference that he'd take over Darnold. Stafford, Hurts, Purdy, even the rookies. That just shows you how divided people are. And this is where the arguments really get heated. You throw his name in with guys like Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, or Baker Mayfield, and it just gets messy. For every person who says, you can't put those guys ahead of a champion, there's another who says, they're all basically the same guy. Now, the biggest argument against Darnold, and it's a huge one, is that he had it all. He was playing on easy mode. He had the #1 defense in the league, the Offensive Player of the Year in his backfield. I mean, critics say he was basically just a passenger in a Ferrari. But here's the rebuttal, and it's the million-dollar question. What if you put another one of those QBs in the exact same situation? If you give that stacked roster to Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield, do they win the Super Bowl too? And maybe they would have looked even better doing it. That's the part nobody can answer for sure. So, after all that, what's the final verdict on Sam Darnold? Is he an elite, franchise-changing quarterback, or was he just a guy who got hot at the absolute perfect time? The truth is, the jury is still very, very much out. But for some people, it's actually really simple. It boils down to this one powerful idea. You can't take a guy who's been in a league for a decade with only a couple of playoff wins and rank him higher than a Super Bowl champion. For some, it's just period. End of discussion. And so that's the question we're going to leave you with. When we're trying to figure out how great a quarterback really is, how much does that championship ring actually weigh? Is it the ultimate trump card that beats everything else? Or is it just one shiny piece of a much larger, much more complicated puzzle? The debate is far from over.